Hello friends, this is Raj Sastry from Raj Option Trading. Today is September 11, 2021. I want to talk about a weekly stock market update and few good stock to buy. So with that, let's look at major stock news, stock sector performance, and review major indices and spot some major trends and look at performance of major ETFs and stocks. And as we do that, let's also spot some good stocks to buy. So with that, let's get started. Lot happened last week. Let's quickly recap and see what we can do next week. So with that, from a broader market outlook perspective, let's look at the sector performance over last couple of weeks and months. So as you can scan through, last week was a difficult week for all sectors, starting from basic materials down 1.9%, and even real estate down big 4.1%. Healthcare is down, industrials down, and even technology, as you can see here, technology is also down 2%. So overall, last week, the theme of the market is really a down week. So we got to watch out carefully and pick some good stocks, when the market is turning negative like this. And as you look at the two weeks here, basic material is still down, even in 2 weeks time, and financial services are down big in 2 weeks time, and energy is also down, and you got industrials down. Technology is holding up a little okay, as you can see here, but utilities are doing better, and so is consumer defensive. So this is exactly the sector that we don't want to lead us, but looks like at this point, consumer defensive and even the utilities are leading us a little bit, as you can see here. So we'll see how it pans out. And as you go into 1 month, we got materials declining here, and we got energy declining again, and healthcare and industrials are declining. I think technology still did well in a 1 month time frame. And as you go into 3 months, same theme here. Energy is giving up a little bit, as you can see here, and industrials are also giving up a little bit. So did basic materials. So what we should do by looking at this really, look at some of these names in real estate. Some of these home builders which are down a lot. Think about Pulte Homes as an example, and few other home builders you could pick up into this weakness and go from there. And also healthcare, there are some very good names which are down big. We should look at some of those healthcare names and buy them slowly. I know Biogen IDEC is big, down big. Eli Lilly is also down. We can look at some of those stocks and buy them slowly. And technology, I think it's a temporary weakness here. We should look at few technology stocks here and buy them into this weakness here. And as we look at the longer term horizon, year to date, we are all green, no big deal. I think we got nice performance. Energy is leading us in year to date, as you can see here, and followed by, as you can see here, real estate is also doing well, and even financial services did very well. And as you look through here, 1 year, nice performance by technology, as you can see here, and also energy did great, and financial services. So as you go into 2 years and 3 years and 5 years, you could see technology leading the way big time, followed by consumer staple, as you can see here, and even basic material did pretty okay. So what I would do is really I would look at top half, look at the weakness here, temporary weakness in some areas like real estate, even financial services for that matter. Couple of these financial services names dropped big time, and even basic materials. I would pick some of those stocks up and hold them for a long time. So I would talk about some of these stocks in my next stock segment, and we can look at a few stocks that we can buy now. So with that, from a stock market news perspective, looks like S&P 500 had a great run, and Wall Street thinks there may be pullback coming. So this is where everybody is kind of thinking there may be a pullback coming. That's why any news can be treated like a bad news, because people are kind of thinking there is a pullback coming. And markets are also bracing for hot consumer inflation report next week. If the CPI is hotter than expected, that could be a catalyst for Fed to taper bond purchases. So that can put some pressure on the market. So that's why folks are really waiting for this inflation report next week, and taking it from there. And the US is authorizing COVID-19 shot from Pfizer for kids of ages 5 to 11. I think that's a great news. I know a lot of families, really staying home because they have some 5 to 11 kids or even lower age group kids. I think this can help generally for people to move around after they took the shots here. We got one stock, Affirm. It's a buy now pay later type company. Stock soared big time. I think they had a great earnings, and they also topped the guidance, and they're also forming a agreement or a partnership with Amazon.com. That's a great news for Affirm. I think they shot up at least 25% or so. I'm slowly taking some profit. Just the run is so high, it's good to take some chips off the table here. And then we got Maravai Life Sciences, MRVI. Looks like they announced a secondary offering here. Stock tumbled big time, 12%. It may be okay to pick some MRVI at these levels here. Then we got Zscaler, did very well. In general, cybersecurity is doing great. So I would pick up some of these names if there is some weakness in the week ahead, and build a nice position in great stocks like Zscaler, stocks like CrowdStrike as example, and even NET. I think that's also a good one. I would buy some of those stocks into this weakness and take it from there. And Take-Two Interactive is delaying the Grand Theft Auto here. I think Take-Two is a good stock. I think we should buy into any weakness here. And I think in general, the video game stocks should go up because Apple had some little bit small setback. These app developers can really collect the payments, not through through their own channels versus going through the Apple App Store. I think that's the good news for companies like Take-Two, Activision Blizzard, Zynga, and some of these video game stocks and other app developers. And then we got here Cigna. Cigna stock sinks after double downgrade. We should look at Cigna here. And also United Health also dropped big time. That's also a great stock to buy into this weakness here. And we got Lululemon. I think they did great. This is one of those stocks which will go up and down drastically during the earnings. I would stay away right now and buy as it comes down. And Boston Beer looks like they're really having hard time with this hard seltzer. I would slowly pick up some Boston Beer here. I've seen this company going up and down. Right now it's a good time to pick up some Boston Beer and accumulate slowly. And we got all the airline stocks, generally warning revenue weakness here. Delta, American, Southwest, I think they're all good to pick up slowly into this weakness. And then we got UiPath, the ticker symbol PATH. Stock falls big time after the earnings beat and outlook hike. I would be a buyer of UiPath here into this weakness and hold it for a while. And then you got here paint maker PPG warrants. I think all these paint makers in general, they have some high cost to bear. I would be a buyer of stocks like PPG, Sherwin-Williams, and some of those stocks at these levels. So with that, let's jump in here. So you might be wondering, what are these sectors and what stocks they have. So this is a quick cheat sheet for you. So right now, basic materials is down. So if you look at some of these stocks here, BHP, Linde, Rio Tinto, and some of these stocks, even Sherwin-Williams, you could pick up some of these stocks into the weakness in the materials and take it from there. And in the communications area, we got stocks like Google, Facebook, all these, many of these social media type stocks got into communication services. I would be looking at some of these stocks into weakness. And consumer cyclical, we got some of the great stocks here. I would be buying these stocks into any weakness. Stocks like Amazon, Alibaba is already down. It's good to accumulate very slowly. And Home Depot, Nike, and so on and so forth. And you can look through here. I think these are all great stocks. I would buy these, slowly and accumulate from there. Let's quickly look through here and see what we can do. And from an indices perspective, we got major indices, SPY and DIA, QQQ, even IWM all down last week. And mainly because, at least first three are down, mainly because Apple came down by a couple of points. That will take, major indices down because Apple is a good weighing in these indices. And even IWM is down last week, so we should probably look at some of these stocks also and see if it's worth buying. So with that, let's jump in here and look at major indices and see what futures are telling us. From a future perspective, we got ES, which is S&P 500. This is a 3-month, one-day chart. As you can see here, S&P 500 down 4 days of the week. They are down for the week. So I think we should watch carefully. It's okay to buy slowly into the weakness, pick up some good stocks and take it from there. And Dow Jones Industrial Average down big, as you can see here. Apple, United Health, which is UNH, down big. I would be willing to buy some of those names into this weakness. And then we got your NASDAQ 100 also down last 4 days here. I would be picking up some stocks in this NASDAQ 100 and hold it for a while. And Russell, as you can see here, down big. This is really, it's trending nicely down, up big. Now it's down. I think Russell, you can expect it to drop around maybe around these levels here, around 2150 potentially. That looks like a possibility as you go forward. Typically, when Russell 2000 leads the decline here, normally it takes the larger indices along with it. So that's why we've got to watch carefully next week and see what we can do. And bonds, as you can see, are holding steady. As stock market falls, bond market holds steady. That's typically the scenario here. And bond market had a great rally here on Thursday. So we should watch bond carefully and see what bond market is telling us. And when the bond holds steady, even interest rates hold steady. So we should be watching for CPI number next week and see what will happen. If Fed stops tapering or slows tapering, I think there is a chance that bond might go down and rates might go up. We got to watch that carefully. And then we got your crude oil. Crude oil is kind of trying to see where to go. Trading range pretty much. 4 big down days here. So I'll be watching crude oil carefully. It's okay to buy some good names in this area. Stick with the better names and don't go down the food chain here. Names like Chevron is a good one. And we got EOG and some of those stocks are good. You could buy them slowly. And then we got gold here. Gold is down, as you can see here. So, and one big down day here, couple more down days. So typically gold is safe haven, but gold is kind of giving up slowly. So we got to watch carefully here. And dollar is pretty much steady here, nothing major here. So let's now look at think through what might happen next week and see if we can get some indications about markets whereabouts next week. So one great way to think through and see what market might do is to look at a broader index like S&P 500. So we got slash ES, which is S&P 500 future. As you see here, right now we got a future contract expiring in 6 days. The last price is 4461 here. And as you scan through here, there is one more expiring in December 21. That price is right now 4452. Typically, when you see back month contract at a lower price, that tells you market is a little bit mildly, mildly bearish at this time. Even if you look at March here, again, a little more down here. That tells you right now, generally market is bearish because it had a good run. So that's one of the reasons here. So we should watch this carefully. It's okay to pick up some good names slowly, but understand there is a bearishness, bearish tone in the market right now. And as you look at here, you might be wondering, hey, what happens in 2 days? What happens next week? What happens week after? So as you see here, from a volatility perspective, you could look at the option chain here. From a vol or volatility perspective, in next week, I think 19%, the volatility increased from 11% to 19%. Then September 21, which is 6 days from now, volatility increased to 38%. And as you go into, September 6th, same date here, we got vol increasing to 45%. This tells you next week, expect some volatility, some turbulence in the market. Market is telling us, hey, you know what, expect S&P 500 or in this case ES, S&P 500 future to go up or down by 76% or even 219, dollars, not percent, 219 points up or down next week. So that's a great range here. So that's why you got to be careful here. Stick with good names. Don't buy too much. Buy slowly into the weakness and take it from there. And now let's look at daily options statistics here. This also tells you what market participants are feeling at this point. We already talked about this this year. The futures are really accounting for a mild bearishness, as you can see here. But then look here, look at the trading volume in S&P 500 futures. Calls 27,000 contracts traded, puts 65,000 contracts traded. So that's a bearish sentiment here. The put call ratio right now is 2.3. That tells you more people are buying puts than calls. So that's why right now it's a little bit bearish. Folks are hedging the bets and buying more put options on S&P 500. That way, if S&P 500 comes down, these folks will make some money. So that's why we got to be watching carefully. If you want to buy some stocks, buy slowly, buy some quality names. We'll talk through those and take it from there. So with that, let's jump in here. I always watch S&P 500 and see what's doing. And also very importantly, I watch Skew very carefully. Look what happens when Skew hits around 150, 160 range. Market, promptly comes down. VIX hit here all-time high. Market came down here. As you can see here, this is the November, December 2018 big drop when J. Paul increased the rates here. And as you scan through here, Skew went up, market came down. This is COVID-19. As you see here, one more drop here, Skew went up, market came down, and one more here. Now it's kind of in the trading range. The moment this happens, and this is a tight trading range right now, still it's high above 150. So I would be watching this because the moment this happens, look here, same thing, trading range on the higher side but dropped. So you got to watch this out. So I'm expecting a small drop here, especially because Skew is in the tight trading range here, or a tight range here. That tells you market can come down. It went so much fast quickly. It's poised for a small pullback here. That's why I think it's good to buy some quality names here. And when this is happening, look at the VIX here. VIX is not budging too much. It's increased a little bit, as you can see here. There's a small uptick here, but did not budge too much. So I think it's okay to buy some VIX long-term call options. So that way, if there's a market tanking, you could make some money through this long-term put call options. So with that, in a nutshell, I would be a little careful. Next week, I would go with some steady and good names and buy them slowly. So now let's look at the major indices. From a major indices perspective, S&P 500 down, as you can see here, a big down candle on Friday. Dow Jones Industrial Average is still weaker. As you can see, a couple the major big candle here. As you see here visually, it's kind of going below that normal support level here. So I'll be a little bit careful here. If it already dropped below this support here, next support is somewhere down here 340. I'll be watching this carefully to see what DIA will do. And as you look at QQQ, same story. I think it's coming down 3 consecutive days. And IWM Russell 1000 again, big candle down here, and you could see some support somewhere here 215 or so. If that drops, I think next support is somewhere here at 210 ish level. So we should be watching carefully here and go slowly. And then we got TLT. TLT is doing a little better here. Bonds are, there is some uptick here in the bonds, as you can see here. And bond is a good hedge. Whenever bond drops big time like this, it's okay to buy some TLT slowly. You may not make too much money with TLT, but it's a very good hedge when the market drops big time. And gold, which is supposed to be a safe haven, is dropping here. Generally, all the material stocks are dropping. I would take advantage and buy some gold at these levels slowly and accumulate. As you can see here, gold can go down fast and also come back fast also. So I will be slowly accumulating some gold names here. Think about a Barrick Gold, and the gold itself is a little expensive. GLD is expensive. You could also buy GLDM, which is a mini, or you could buy GDXJ, which is a junior minor. Those are good ones to buy slowly. And then you got your XLP, consumer staples, supposed to be a little more defensive here. That also came down, as you can see here. And then you got XLU also down here. If there is an increase in the interest rate next week, then people will go and buy some of the treasury instead of putting money into XLU. That's why it's showing some weakness here. And then you got XLK technology. There's some weakness here. It's kind of, I think this is the next support level here, 155. It may break below. We'll watch carefully. It's mainly dropping because of stocks like Apple as an example. And then you got your SMH, semiconductor. Semiconductor is one bright spot, as you can see here. Even the bigger market dropped big time, SMH held pretty steadily here. This is because there is a semiconductor shortage, as we all know. I would watch carefully. I'll pick up some good names which are beaten down a little bit and play that way. I would not be buying at the top here. I'll wait for this to come down. As you can see, a semiconductor will always come down, give you opportunity to buy. And next is a little bit, downer here, XAR. Even you can look at JETS, Jets. Both these ETFs are into defensive and airlines and, the defense contractors. This is down big time. So I would be slowly buying some XAR or even some stocks like Northrop, Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, some of those names, even Boeing for that matter, and slowly accumulate. There is no hurry and there is no rush. Slowly accumulate those names here. And then you got XLE. XLE is in a slow motion down, as you can see here. It's okay to buy some good names slowly. Names like Chevron, EOG, Continental Resources, and some of those names you could buy slowly into this weakness. And then you got XRT. XRT is a very good trading ETF. Right now, as you can see, XRT came down big time. There's a nice support level around 92 or so. I would buy some XRT at these levels and take it from there. And IYR, you could also look at some good names in the XRT, for example, 5 below down big time, even stocks like Burlington and some of those names, even TJX, you could buy some of those names. And look at some bigger names like Home Depot, you could look at some of those too. And then you got IYR, the IYR real estate is down big time here. There's a nice support level somewhere around 107 or so. I would pick up some IYR and also some good names like home builders. Home builders are down. Think about Pulte Homes, Toll Brothers, and some of those names. You could buy them. And then you got XLF here, XLF financials. Financials, I think there's a good support level around, say, 36, 37, 38 level, or even 37 level. I would buy financials slowly. If there is a rate increase coming, I think this will XLF will be a beneficiary. You could also look at some beaten down stocks like Wells Fargo, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, some of those names here, even Berkshire Hathaway for that matter. And then you got XLI here, XLI industrial down big time. I would buy some into this weakness here. Industrials normally, up and down. Right now it's down. I'm sure it will come up. I would buy some good names here. Think about stocks like Honeywell, Deere, which is down big time. You could also look at Caterpillar and some of those names and buy them slowly. So with that, let's jump in here and look at few stocks and take it from there. From a major stock perspective, we got here Microsoft at the top here. Microsoft is one of those stocks which has been doing very nicely. Right now, as you can see here, Microsoft is trying to break below its 25-day moving average. So if it breaks below 25-day moving average, next stop is 50-day moving average, which is 288. So I'll be slowly watching this. I don't want to buy it at the top. If it breaks below 25-day moving average, I'll be buying the stock around 288 or so slowly and accumulate very slowly here. As you see here, then we got Apple here. Apple, I think after this whole saga about they should not be allowing the app developers to always go through Apple payment or Apple's app store. I think that's a positive news for app developers. Now app developers can collect money in a different way rather than paying some money or commission to Apple all the time. That's why Apple came down here. I would be a buyer of Apple here slowly. They have a Apple event coming up. They might be releasing some new products like iPhone and whatnot. I'll be a buyer of Apple slowly into this weakness. And then you got Amazon.com. Amazon, as you can see, a little weaker here. It's touching its 50-day moving average here. I would be a buyer in Amazon.com. So if there is a scare of if there is a issue on COVID-19, people generally they're okay to buy from Amazon.com, and their web services business is also doing well. So I'll be watching Amazon.com and buying into any weakness here. And then you got Facebook. Facebook is doing nicely here. I would probably buy this Facebook on any weakness here. If there's a general pullback in the market, Facebook will also come down. I'll be a buyer of Facebook into any weakness. And then you got Google here. Google looks like it came down pretty drastically. So it came even below its 100-day moving average. At this time, I'll be a buyer of Google. I'll be slowly accumulating Google and take it from there. Netflix is doing great, as you can see here. Off late, I think this stock is doing great. I remember when it dropped big time, came below 500 a while ago after the earnings. I would be a buyer of. I will not be buying Netflix here. I would watch Netflix, and when it drops a little bit, probably 25-day moving average, I might look at it. But right now, it's too high for me. Same is the story with NVIDIA. NVIDIA always gives you opportunity to buy. Right now, NVIDIA is very hot. It's a semiconductor play. It's a great stock. I love this stock, but I would wait for this to come back a little bit. If it touches 215 here, which is 25-day moving average, I might buy slowly and watch a little more. Johnson & Johnson on the other hand, I think it's a good one to buy here. Right now, stock is below its 100-day moving average. I'm willing to buy Johnson & Johnson slowly here. Anytime it came down like this, it always came up again. I think it's a good one here, a major healthcare stock. I would be buying Johnson & Johnson into this weakness here. And then we got here PayPal. PayPal is a great stock. Right now it's showing some weakness here, trying to bounce off of its 25-day moving average. I will be buying PayPal slowly into any down day and accumulate it. Next one is United Health. This is a great stock. It's into health insurance area. I think right now stock came down pretty bad. I think one of the reasons Dow Jones Industrial Average came down is UNH. It's one of the bigger weighings on Dow Jones Industrial Average. That's why it came down here. I would be buying UNH at this level here. It's a really nice bargain here. I would be buying UNH slowly and accumulate. Then you got Merck. Merck, I can't believe Merck is coming down so drastically here. I'll be a buyer of Merck at these levels. It's a great stock. This stock, kind of gives you those trading opportunities up, down, down, up. In no time, this can go up. I'll be accumulating this Merck stock here slowly and take it from there. And then we got your medical device play, Medtronics. I think it's also dropping below its 25-day moving average. With the COVID scare, people might be putting off their their elective surgeries. That's why the stock came down. So I'll be looking at this this stock here and buying it slowly. If it comes around 130 or so, I'll be buying slowly and accumulating this. And then you got JP Morgan. JP Morgan is a great stock. I'm willing to buy JP Morgan at these levels here. Stock is touching its 50-day moving average, as you can see here. With the interest rate, I think going, probably it might go higher. JP Morgan is a good bet here. I'm willing to buy JP Morgan as well as Berkshire Hathaway. Look at Berkshire Hathaway. It's trying to bounce off of its 50 100-day moving average here. I would be a buyer of Berkshire Hathaway at these levels. And look at Visa. Visa is already hitting its 200-day moving average here. I would be a buyer of Visa here into this weakness. I think it's a great stock. I think it will do well in the long run. And then you got Home Depot here. Home Depot is holding up pretty well here. Home Depot is a great stock. I think there may be some paint shortage and all those things, and it might weigh in on Home Depot. I would probably wait for a little pullback in Home Depot before I put my money here. So with that, let's look at a few more names here. So first is Oracle. Oracle is a great stock. It's headed by Larry Ellison, who is co-founder, and CEO is Safra Katz. I think stock is kind of in the 25-day moving average range. Next week, Oracle announces earnings. So I would wait for the earnings. Typically, Oracle stock can come up or down drastically during the earnings. That's why I will wait for Oracle stock after the quarterly earnings next week. If it comes down, I would buy some. Look at the IV percentile here. If you want to sell some strangle or even put option, you could make some money. The reason it's high is next week is the earnings. Typically around the earnings, IV percentile goes so high. If you anyway want to buy Oracle, you could sell some put option at a lower price, maybe around say 85 or 80, and make some money that way. If it hits 80, you could buy Oracle. It's a great stock for the long term. And then you got SAP here. SAP looks like it came below its 50-day moving average here. Typically, these two are in the same area, enterprise software market. If you sense some slowness in the choppiness in the SAP, that can be a leading indicator. Oracle also might have some challenges in the earnings report next week. That's why I would be watching. Probably I'll buy SAP slowly into this weakness and Oracle after the earnings. Then we got Shopify. Shopify, after the great year last year, it's kind of trying to see where to go. It's below its 200-day moving average here. I'll be slowly accumulating, Shopify here. Look at the IV percentile. If you're an option seller, you could sell some put option at a lower price, and you could make some money that way. And then you got Snap here. Snap is chugging along pretty well here. Had a great gap up after the earnings here. Right now it's in the trading range. I would probably wait for this to come down a little bit and then buy Snap. I'm thinking it might, this gap might get filled here. I will be watching a little bit. If it comes around, say 70, I'll be willing to buy Snap slowly. Then we got Twitter here. Twitter is, big. Down big, as you can see here. It's a great stock, great CEO Jack Dorsey. I think he's a great CEO. I'm willing to buy some Twitter at this weakness here and take it from there. And then we got your Take-Two Interactive. It's a great stock. I think they had to postpone their one of the games, so that's why stock came down a little bit. I'm willing to buy Take-Two into this weakness. It's a great stock. Right now it's squarely in the bearish territory. Below it's a 200-day, 100-day, even below 25-day moving average. It's a good stock. I would buy slowly. IV percentile is low, as you can see here. Even if you want to buy some long-term call option, you're not going to pay too much money here. And then you got AMD. AMD is another great semiconductor chip play here. It's trying to come below 25-day moving average. I'm willing to buy AMD around $100 or so. It's a great stock. Legendary CEO. She's doing great. Lisa Su. I would buy some AMD if it comes to around $100 or so. And then you got your Moderna. Moderna is a great stock. Looks like they got a single shot for flu as well as COVID-19 booster. That's a great news. That's why stock went up here. I would wait for any temporary weakness in Moderna and buy into the weakness. And then you got American Express. Again, I love American Express. It's a great stock. Right now stock is below 100-day moving average. I'm willing to buy American Express slowly into the weakness. As you can think through here, we got major credit card companies or fintech companies down. American Express, Visa, MasterCard, they're all down. I'm willing to buy some at these levels and take it from there. And then you got CVS here, energy, it's a CVS is really healthcare type stock. They got pharmacy. Right now it's coming down. CVS always gives you opportunity to buy. So I'm willing to buy CVS a little bit into this weakness here and take it from there. In general, many of the healthcare stocks came down. That's why you see CVS, ABBV, another great stock, came down big time. I'm willing to buy some ABBV also into this weakness and take it from there. Edward License, on the other hand, doing great here. I would probably wait for a little weakness before I buy. Then we got financials. Bank of America, Wells Fargo, both are down here. I'm willing to buy these companies slowly. I think if there is an interest rate hike, these companies can get benefit. We could look at these slowly and buy them. And then you got MasterCard, again another great company. I think they acquired another company. I think I would be willing to buy this stock here at this pullback here and take it from there. And then you got Lowe's here along with Home Depot. Lowe's is also in the trading range here. I'll be waiting for a small pullback. Given Lowe's has gone up significantly after the earnings, I'm willing to wait a little bit, let it come below or come to 50-day moving average, and then I might look at it slowly. We got a couple more here. These are the big story stocks last week. We got Pulte Homes, great home builder. Stock dropped big time here. Trying to gain some footing here. I'm willing to buy some Pulte Home into this weakness here and take it from there. And we got one more here, Biogen IDEC. Biogen always does this, whenever there's a bad news around this drug, especially it plays in this Alzheimer's disease, which is very hard to crack, stock comes tumbling down. If you're patient enough, this stock always comes back up. I'm willing to buy some BIIB, Biogen at these levels and hold it for a while. Then you got solar stocks like ENPH Energy, Solar Edge. They're all coming down a little bit. I'm willing to buy some of these solar names at these levels and hold it for a while. And then you got your Kathy Wood's favorite stock here, UiPath. Great automation, software automation play. Stock came tumbling down. I'm willing to buy some UiPath at these levels. Even if you're a long-term option buyer, you could buy some call option given IV percentile is very low. Then you got Eli Lilly, again healthcare stock here, great company. I admire and love this company. Stock came tumbling down here, trying to get stabilized around 240 range. I'm willing to buy this stock here. It's a great stock. I'm sure it will do well. And then we got the blockchain companies, crypto companies like Riot Blockchain, Marathon, even other names like BTBT. They're all down. I'm willing to buy them slowly into this weakness. As you can see, a down, up, big down. I'm sure this will, this will also pass, and you could see a bounce here. Then we got APLS, another healthcare stock here. Stock came tumbling down, as you can see here. I'm willing to buy APLS at these levels. I think it will do well in the long run. And then you got Ring Central here. Looks like last year was a great year for Ring Central. Everybody wanted to work from home and work from wherever. Stock did great. Multiple expansions last year. Now it's giving some of those back, as you can see here. Same story with Zoom also. It's also going down a little bit. I'm willing to watch this slowly and start a tracking position here and buy slowly. It's a great company. I'm sure they will do well in the long run. No need to hurry. Buy a small tracking position here, and then you can slowly accumulate. Another major trend is really cannabis. All the cannabis stocks are coming down. So I think we should buy some of the quality names like CGC here. And also you could look at other stocks like Tilray and some of those. Buy slowly, no hurry. I think this will also come up. Cannabis has been down for a while now. I think it's ripe for a bounce as we go forward. Then you got your SCYTK, one of my favorite stock here. They had a huge gap up here. I'm willing to wait a little bit for a pullback here. I think this stock will also do well. I'm willing to buy this slowly as it hits 100-day moving average around 26 or so. And then we got here StoneCo. It's a Brazil-based fintech play. It's really having a bad time, as you can see here. I'm willing to buy StoneCo slowly into this weakness and hold it for a while. And then we got here Autodesk, one of my favorite software companies. Stock has come down drastically. This company has got a great recurring revenue subscription business model. Right now, as you can see, a stock is consolidating here. I think from here onwards, you should see a bounce. I love this company. I'll be buying slowly and accumulating. As you can see here, even if you're a call option buyer, you could buy some call option here. IV percentile is low. You could buy some long-term call option. And then you got EV plays. Many of these EV stocks are down, especially because of semiconductor shortage. And even generally automobiles are down. I would buy some quality names like NIO here, and even Lee, XPAV, even Ford and GM for that matter, and hold it for a while. And then you got your favorite meme stock, Robinhood. Robinhood, after surging high above 100, right now it's cooling off around $44. I'm willing to buy Robinhood slowly. You never know. Suddenly this Wall Street bet gang will wake up and scoop up Hood, and it can go up. So I think it's a good one at these levels. You could buy some Robinhood at these levels here. So with that, now let's look at major ETFs and see what they're telling us. So let's quickly go through this. The way to read this chart is I got here the ticker symbol of major ETFs here, and I've sorted this by 1 month performance. The stocks, the ETFs on the top here have done nicely for 1 month, and the ones below here, they have not done great. So as you scan through here, look at the 1 month performance and pay also closer attention to 1 day, 5 day, 10 day. So I would look at some of these names like gold as example. Right now it's coming down a little bit. As you can scan through RSI is 46, that tells you it's in a buying low RSI. It's sold off at these levels. I would be looking at gold here to buy slowly. Given RSI is low, I would be buying gold slowly here. And also some of these good names like ABBV gold, and some of the names I would buy them slowly. But SMH on the other hand, it's done nicely. It's up like on Friday. RSI 60. I will not touch SMH here. Semiconductors. I would wait for this to cool off a little more. As you scan through here, then we got a couple more RSI, low RSI ETFs here. Think about XLK, TLT is a good hedging play. I would not touch TLT here. It's a 20-year treasury. I will wait for it to cool off. It's a good hedge play. I think there were better days to buy TLT. Now it's not a good time to buy. Then as you scan through here, look at some of these names. These are down even in 1 month. So FXI, IWM, even dollar, it's down a little bit. I'll be looking at some of these names down here. Given they are coming down drastically, I will look at some good stocks in these areas and scoop them up. The names that we have already looked at, for example, Visa, MasterCard, Eli Lilly or LLY, United Health, some of those names are good ones to buy into this weakness and take it from there. Next, we look at ETF winners. So in 1 month's time frame, uranium is doing great here. Uranium ETF URA. Even on Friday when the market tanked, uranium did nicely, as you can see here, 35% in 1 month. It did not give up. It went up even on Friday. That's a nice run here. And as you scan through here, we got bonds, or BNO is doing well here. And as you scan through here, we got some names like SMH. We got RSX, EWW. Some of those names are doing well. Even oil, I think it's doing okay here. But look at some of the names which are not doing great. We can look at ETF losers as we go forward. But you could look at some of the losers here and pick some of the stocks in there, in those sectors. As an example here, we got, ETHE crypto play. Cryptos are down a little bit. Look at names like, the RIOT blockchain as an example, which is down drastically, and even Marathon slowly. You could buy some of those names. So with that, let's look at ETF losers. I pay very close attention to ETF losers. So on the top, you got MJ. MJ is really cannabis. All the cannabis cohorts are coming down now. Look at here, 1 year, 5 year down, 1 year up, but all the way 6 months, 3 months, 1 month, all the way down. So I would pick up some good quality names here. Think about, Canopy Growth, think about Tilray, and some of the good names, even Grow Generation for that matter. You could look at IIPR. You could buy some of those names into this weakness here. Even Scott's Miracle Grow for that matter. And then we got here TAN. TAN is our solar. Look at some solar stocks like Solar Edge, even ENPH Energy and Sunworks. You could look at some of those names and buy them slowly. And retail is down. There are a lot of great retail stocks. I would buy them slowly into this weakness here. And jets, all the airline stocks are down. So think about quality names like LUV and Delta. And look at some of those names, even United for that matter. You could buy them slowly. Energy is down, so you could look at some great energy stocks like Exxon, Chevron, Continental Energy, EOG, and some of those names. I think, from a trend perspective, you get the idea here. Clean energy is also down. You could buy some clean energy stocks and take it from there. And materials, look at here. We got silver down, gold down. You could look at some of those names also and buy them slowly. So with that, thank you very much. Happy investing and trading. Market can be choppy next week, but always buy some quality names slowly and take it from there. Thank you.